is Agnieszka Zając. I represent International Film Festival ETIUDA&Anima, and I'm delighted to welcome talented Mawrgan Shaw, a director of film Forgotten. Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You are currently in Canada, right?
Yes, correct.
Is it snowing over there or not yet?
Not yet, but it's very close.
All right, let's start with very first question about your animation, okay? Well, Forgotten is one of those animation that leaves a number of open questions. In your artistic statement, you write that the animation is a window to the elderly people living in a permanent isolation from the world. Where did you, as such a young artist, get your interest of such a difficult subject?
I would say it's been my experience over the last 2 years. Obviously, the situation the world has found itself in. I've been disconnected from family, home in Australia, and a lot of my elderly family, particularly my grandparents. And it was something I saw here, older people being very isolated, particularly in this time. And I had a lot of interviews with family of friends in Canada of elderly people, and just hearing their perspectives, I really wanted to make a piece that highlighted their experience, because it isn't always something that is talked about.
Mm-hmm. So what was the research involved in working on the Forgotten? Like, did you have you mentioned before, like you have an opportunity to talk with elderly people, but did you, on the spot, did you have a chance to speak with them, or did you maybe visit some place for the elderly people? I know there was a COVID time that could be very hard for you, but did you collect any statistics, read some kind of scientific reports, or etc.?
I did. I was lucky to be able to visit one particular person who's a friend of mine. It's her grandmother, and she really enjoyed still having connection. So when it was safe during the pandemic, we would meet outdoors, and that was something that was really important for her. And in a lot of the studies I looked into, there was a lot of information around that socialization being necessary for elderly people in particular to keep up their cognitive abilities and to be able to keep thriving. And without that social connection, a lot of things begin to deteriorate. So that's what my film's about, and what I wanted to focus on and, again, bring light to and discussion around.
Was using a drawing technique was your very first a choice, or it was the final choice? I always wonder if it was possible to draw loneliness in a line, and your animation is like a perfect answer for that question.
Thank you. Yes, drawing was my first choice. I wanted to represent the fragility of your mind when you are isolated, when you are lonely, and how it can be difficult to grasp things sometimes, whether it's concepts or whether it's your environment. And that's why you'll see in all my drawings, every frame is very unique. Like every frame, I used a different brush, I used a different pressure or technique. So it's, as a piece, it's cohesive, but each individual frame is very different and has a very different emotion attached to it.
I'm wondering, did you have any doubts while creation process?
Any doubts?
Yes.
Yes, many. Animation's so, as you would know, so hard. Sometimes it's so time consuming. There were certainly moments where I thought, have I attempted to make something that I just can't make? I mean, it took me, I think, nearly 8 months to make Forgotten, and obviously it's all by myself. My partner does the sound and music. He's extremely talented, so I can bounce off of him, but all the drawings, all the concepts, it's all mine. And that can be very scary and daunting to do, but I think the end result is great. I'm really proud of it, and I'm really happy that it's being shown at your festival.
Okay, so how is difficult to be a director and a pure producer at the same time? Like, let's talk about it, because I think many people are like doesn't know how to, answer for that question. Like, have like a doesn't have a perfect answer. The director has their own word, and being an independent producer, you face with many difficulties as well.
Yes, I would say in straddling both roles, I think the director in me would have loved to have so many more scenes and so many more moments and so much more detail. And the producer in me said, well, that's not possible. So we're going to scale it back, and we're going to still deliver the emotion that you want and the story that you want, but we're going to do it in an achievable way.
Forgotten is a perfect example that animation as a form of art can be a manifesto for a social important issues. I wonder, what was the reaction after the screenings of your film?
They've been really, really positive. I had a screening in person in a theatre in Ottawa at the Ottawa International Animation Festival last month. It's the first time I got to see it in a theatre, and the reactions were really, really good. Like, I had a few people come up to me and tell me how good it was, and I feel like you've probably had that moment when you're in a theatre and everyone's very silent during a piece because hopefully they're moved by it. That's how I would like to interpret it. But it's been really great seeing people respond to it.
Will your future project will deal with a social issue too? Are you currently working on any new project?
Yes, definitely. I like to focus on issues that people can connect to. Animation's a great medium for that because you really can create anything you want. At the moment, I'm working on adapting a piece from fiction, actually, from an Australian author. And the piece itself is about anxiety and sort of about depression, anxiety, and how we can let things get away from us. It's called Breathe, and hopefully it'll be finished soon. It's another kind of dark piece, but hopefully people will connect to it.
I'm wondering, do you have any animation master who inspired you the most?
That's a really good question. I would say my biggest inspiration, honestly, is actually all of the smaller independent animators that are around. I've done so many workshops with so many really talented people who this craft is their passion, and so they may not necessarily have a wide reach of what they've made, but they inspire me every day in seeing how much joy they get from this craft, and also audiences are so inspiring.
Okay, Morgan, thank you for being with us. And I'm really sorry that you are not here in Krakow. You are not be able to join us, but hopefully, hopefully, in a future, it will happen, and we can have a small talk in Krakow during the festival Etiuda&Anima.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you again for including my film. I'm so excited.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.